And yeah, good to go when you guys are.
So, Professor, what's it like to be here in Melbourne? And I take it you've made a few visits around before to this country?
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I was telling JLaw earlier, I used to come here all the time in the early 2000s when I was touring on the N1 mixtape tour. And then I think the last time I was here was 2016. I had touring with a different company, but it's always loved to come back to Australia. I feel like, especially now, like the height of the NBL and how popular it is, I think that dictates how much the country likes basketball. And so I've already felt it. I've only been here a day and a half, but it's great to be back.
What's the handles like of the kids here, of the adults here? How do you assess the nation's handles?
The handles, I would say now that I'm here ground level, I could be able to assess. I would say like it's hard to really gauge what that looks like, from the States and trying to, social media, right? There's so many narratives to follow and countries and all that. So I'm not even sure, to be honest. When I was here 2016, we played dudes who were more like standard pro players. So the handle wasn't amazing, but that's not to say that some of these upcoming kids or the NBL isn't really like that right now. So it's hard to say.
Jordan, what's your trip around Australia been like? You've had a bunch of kids with you.
Yeah.
What's the entire trip been like for you?
It's been special. It's definitely been different than what I've ever done. So I actually brought over a group of fifth grade Americans. And each camp that we've done, so we did Melbourne, we did Brisbane, we did Gold Coast, and we did Sydney. We've had the kids involved in the training sessions as well as playing 5-on-5 games. So it's been a really cool introduction to international style of play for us as Americans, which we need so wholeheartedly. To be able to see the more we versus me mindset, the systematic style of play is great. A lot of the rulings are different. I love the fact that you guys don't teach zone defense to your younger athletes until they get to 14 years old or so. So there's a lot that we picked up on. It's been tremendous. And on top of that, as we've been going and touring around, we've been doing things like being a part of Kids Giving Back. So all my fifth graders made 210 lunches for the homeless. The Salvation Army picked up the other day, passed them out, which was incredible. We've learned about Indigenous culture. We did an Indigenous culture class. We learned how to cook like Aussies. Not all Aussies, because I'm sure, Olgan, that you know how to cook, maybe some cereal. And then we had a bunch of stuff like a painting class, a cultural painting class. So it's been really, really special and a lot more intrinsic than it has been, from a skill set perspective. But we've still been putting in work at every stage or every space that we've been at in Australia.
When you speak to your kids, what's the biggest difference that they notice on the court when it comes to the basketball they've been playing in the US versus the way they're playing out here?
More physical. And that's been the first thing that each one of them has said, without Q, is the style of play is way more physical. And I think what it is a little bit of that footy DNA that's been bred into these younger athletes. They're so much more grit. And I feel like I've said that on so many different media platforms where I just love the Aussie grit and determination. When we get on the court, it's, they're, I can't remember the Boomers, mantra, but it's you mob together and I butchered that, didn't I? But somewhat, you get the gist. Everybody just plays together so well, and they're in it for the team and the unit. And that's something that you can see that they lay everything out there on the line. And whether it's blowing through you, putting his shoulder right in your chest, we felt it when they got off the plane.
So does that make you feel a bit daunted coming out here, knowing that that's the scouting report for Australians, you playing street ball against a pickup game like this against some Australians? Is that scary?
Oh, no. Well, here's the thing. You want aggressive defenders. You're trying to make somebody look bad. It's actually better, right? Because, most people I play against, they guard me from me to you. You know what I mean? And so, I'm doing moves, under the hoop. I'm still doing moves 5 feet from the hoop. But you always want aggressive defenders. You know what I mean? So, yeah. There's a remedy for everything. That's what I always say.
Joy, you've worked with a lot of us NBL guys as well as our NBA guys. Is there a couple of Australian NBL guys you're excited about this season, or you've looked at in the off season and thought, geez, they got something here?
Yes, Luke Travers spent some time in our gym. Tremendous athlete, amazing player. I'm actually really keen on Ariel. I'm really excited to see what he does now coming back from his injury, and that's a tough injury to come back from. And being a year out, he looks way more explosive, way stronger. Looks like he's finding his touch, within the organization or within the system. And then if I'm going away from Melbourne United, Lachlan Ulbrich spent some time with us in the off season, and I'm really keen on him. I think his his game is really special and it translates really well to the NBA floor.
He surprised some people at the Blitz. Did you have him ready for the Blitz or what?
I think a lot of what he has done over the past year has been himself and like his determination. And I mean, he went and put his best foot forward at the Blitz, and I think that's why nobody was really keying on him. So it gave him that opportunity to really showcase his best self and kind of surprise some people in the process.
Professor, you say you've been to Melbourne a few times. How do you notice the culture has been changing across the years you've been here?
It's interesting. I think like back, are we speaking strictly to hoop culture or just in general?
Hoop culture and in general.
Yeah, I feel like with basketball, when we came here in the early 2000s, it was the and one wave. So like half the people were dressed like hot sauce. Everybody like he asked about the handles, right? Everybody was doing like carry moves and inventing their own, and like it had went to like this whole like. I felt like international absorbed it like in a different way than even like we did on the team. Like they took the moves and took the creativity and took it to like Mars, to the point where even we on the team would look at some of the moves like, what is that? Like one time a dude shot the ball. He took his like shirt off with the ball in it and he shot it, and we're just like, because we still played basketball, you know what I mean? But like those tricks were within the game, right? So it was kind of like that whole and one wave of culture as far as the hoops go, and like the baggy shorts and stuff like that. So I think like today, I feel like it feels like on par with American, but I think like how he said with the play style, with the grit, that is interesting to hear. He would know more now. He keeps up more with the pulse of like the regular game play style. But yeah, we're soft. Like in the States generally, we're pretty like soft.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the root cause of that is necessarily, but I think that's accurate to say. So as far as the general culture, I'm not gonna lie, we came back here in the early 2000s. I always thought it was great and welcoming, and I've never experienced anything else. Like people are way nicer here than the States. Like the hospitality is crazy. I feel like there's like a good heart about Australia that the U.S. like doesn't have anymore or something. I don't know. It feels different though. It feels warm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to put Jordan on the floor at some point today?
Well,
I'm going to be one of those guys who sags really, really far if Grayson has the ball in front of me.
that's actually, you asked me about hacking. The funny thing is most people sag off me and then they foul me when I get there.
Yep.
So like I'm
That
always
sounds
playing,
that's my motto.
always playing people that are hacking, and I would actually say that's how you should go, to be honest. But I pulled my groin. I ain't even playing today. Not playing in here. I'm actually hoping my pull was a little more than a strain, so we're doing the whole summer jam circuit. So I'm hoping like halfway through this trip, maybe I'll be able to play, but you never know. The growing be weird, you know? So, yeah. But JLaw, yeah, like he's somebody who lives and breathes basketball. I don't know if getting a move off on JLaw would be a thing, you know what I mean? Because what a lot of people don't know about my game is like actually a shooter. Like in order to do moves on somebody, you have to make them respect like the bucket, you know what I mean? Like that's a missed art of like if you watch my video, because you can't put all the fundamental stuff in that video, it's not gonna be the same. But like I'd probably, if he sat, he'd probably just end up shooting it, because if I got close, he might foul, and he's way stronger now. So
Stop it.
that's how I view it. It's fake.
Who's winning?
Who's winning today?
Us.
His squad.
What?
Ours? I don't even know who's on the team.
I don't even know my roster, and
I'm-
it's us.
Look, I'm actually jealous, though. I came with Roscoe. Roscoe was who I came with, my partner on the 2v2 stuff. He's supposed to play in the Summer Jam events, but he's actually on his team.
Let's go. We
So
are
I'm
winning.
already disappointed.
We are winning. Yes.
Yeah, but it's all good.